Hi, very good evening for most of you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Guys, I'll re-emphasise what we was talking about in yesterday's video. You need to let it sink in and realise, that these times that we're in right now are, let's go with the facts, probably 20 to 25% worse than what there was 30 years ago with regards to just inbound cosmic rays. If you're sunbathing out in the garden, you are 20 to 25% more susceptible to that equivalent in radiation from our sun and also from our, the galaxy that we live in. This is inbound into our solar system. We've got a big problem there because we're seeing, solar cycle 24, 25, follow the pattern for the last 35 years, showing, a decline by, it was over 150, we were down to, numbers below 50 sunspots. This is not something to pacify yourselves about. When you hear me talking about these things, and you walking outside, you are being bombarded by radiation. If you just look at the muon counts that we do, you will know that when you stand outside without any protective field above you, like a roof or concrete, or you're in a high rise and you're at the bottom floor, you stand more chance of receiving less radiation. But when you look at the muon data that we collect, sometimes in Canada we have 800 muons per hour per square metre. You can't avoid these things. They're travelling at the speed of light and they're on the increase. The solar radiation you can avoid to some degree. You can wear, as highest factor as you should wear. That's entirely up to you. But don't pacify yourselves that this is something that just because it's slowly happening, slowly taking place, as the years go by and the decades go by, the levels of protection that we have and was accustomed to from the magnetosphere are no longer the same. 30 years ago, we had 20% more protection than what we've got now. That's a large amount, guys. That's nearly a quarter of the protective shield from harmful cosmic rays, solar radiation that we used to have, and we no longer have it. I want to tell you why we're looking at these videos whilst we're on the subject of people being pacified. You can see we had 9,000 views in less than 24 hours ago. Well, actually now it is 24 hours ago. But the point is that we had, out of 9,000 people, just 8 people chip in a few bucks for the observatory. And we see this on a weekly basis. I just want to, let you know that that's a terrible conversion. 9,000, and you get less than a couple of handfuls of people, chipping a few bucks. That has got to change. We are trying to inform people. We're trying to build equipment here. We're trying to monitor these things, and this requires time and money, unfortunately. You are lucky that you've got a qualified scientist who has built most of the equipment for you guys, so that you don't have to rely on the BS that comes from these mainstream organisations with regards to this topic. Because with regards to just what we've been talking about over the last couple of days, think about it. They should be warning people that they are 20% more likely to get cancer through prolonged periods of being outside exposed to the sun. What in the blue hell is going on? Why aren't these mainstream organisations, and even more so, why aren't the ones that are supposed to protect the global population from harmful effects such as this. You know who I'm talking about. I'll get my arse kicked if I mention them. They just wait for an excuse. We cannot switch on the advert revenue because it would have been nice to do that this week. If you look at the views, they're reasonable. We could have earned a couple of bucks through the advert revenue, but YouTube will not let us because they say that we distribute harmful content. Can you believe that? Harmful context. Nobody in the world on any mainstream media is warning any of the members of public, 8 billion souls, that if they go out into the direct sunlight, they are exposing themselves to 20% more than what they would have 30 years ago. There is a high risk of skin cancer, to say the least. There is also a risk of cardiac arrhythmias. These are proven causes through being directly related to exposure to cosmic rays and solar radiation. And there is nobody talking about this. This is the biggest story of today that has not been told. It is shameful, absolutely shameful, that these organisations haven't came out and warned the 8 billion souls on this planet. Just think about that. Guys, I know that, we talk about these topics regularly, but don't allow yourself to be pacified, just because you are one of the very few, and I say this regularly, 98% of the people in this world are completely unaware of what's going on. They don't even know that the magnetic reversal's taking place. I was speaking to 2 people today that didn't know the Earth's magnetic field was reversing, and they started asking loads of questions. And they was really surprised. That's how informed the general public are. That's how informed global public are. We need to do more, guys. We've got opportunities here to help save people from total losses. That, their life's works can easily go down the pan as these events increase in magnitude. And we know the magnetosphere will weaken more than what it has already. And we might not be too far away from it. We are arriving in just a few days' time on that predicted mark. Bear that in mind. Do not pacify yourselves. If your kids are outside, make sure they have the highest factor sunblock that you can put on them if you are going to let them out, and try not to let them out in the hottest part of the day when the sun is at its meridian, the highest point in the sky. Do not let your kids out. Try and avoid it. Go, a couple of hours either way, either on the morning or late on the afternoon. The exposure can be reduced. Guys, I'll mention the link down there, and as I've just done that, guess what's just happened? Probably 300 people, 400 people later on have just gone to the next fear porn, supplement out there on YouTube. We're not trying to make anyone scared. We're trying to motivate them to action. We're trying to make them, optimistic and not so pessimistic. If you think you can avoid what's taking place right now, then I'm sorry to say, there is no way you can avoid it. You can minimise the risks. And that is what we're trying to get people to do. Link down there. I'm sure we can do better than that yesterday, guys. Come on, 9,000 people, less than the amount of people on my hands chipping a few bucks. We need some, real soldiers stepping forward and saying, you know what, we got your back, Gene. We're with you. Okay. Only one thing to say. You take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.